there, Seraphim 17 once again. This is my Ys VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana, Inferno walkthrough. We are now pushing into the next area so that we can get the rewards for felling a dungeon and killing the bosses, and we're going to be getting a medical student, and this is going to be triggering a whole host of events that are going to happen at Castaway Village. So before you do this, guys, you might want to make sure that you're up ahead on all the side quests if you want to make sure you get everything, because it's going to change the village in quite a drastic way coming up. And as you can see there, the Captain Barbaros, or Captain Barbosa, as I like to call him, he's just been attacked, and there is a murderer amongst us. So Uran is the guy that we just recruited from the forest. He's looking for the Nameless Ripper. This is a name from the mainland who's been causing all kinds of chaos, and now we have to walk around exploring. Whenever you're in a moment such as this, it is useful if you want to understand the game more and the characters and get into the story, to listen to the characters speak. In this particular moment in time, there is a hunt that happens in the village, so because the final enemy of this hunt is actually a unique enemy, I think it's the Avalodragil guy, the dragon that keeps turning up, I'm going to throw in the end of the hunt here for you guys. Once again, just to reiterate for people that are new to the walkthrough, I'm not covering the hunts in the game, and there might be a chance that I go back at the end and record them all just for, like, posterity, but I'm not featuring them because there's going to be a lot of combat, guys, and I don't want you to get bored by too much combat. However, I will be doing them, and I recommend you do them too, because there's a really, really cool thing about these hunts. They're not that difficult even when they get tough, because you have a ton of really good support characters to help you out. You can use as many items as you want if you want to do that, and I know a lot of players are going to love that. And then when you beat them, especially when there's an emergency on, so when they first appear, if you beat them, Dogi gives you rewards, and he gives you really powerful equipment. One of them is the Fencer skill that doubles the time that flash move is active for when you get a dodge. That's one of the most powerful tools in the game if you're good at dodging, because you can use it to absolutely destroy bosses. And Kiergaard, who's coming up in this video, is going to get really destroyed by that item should you choose to use it. So, just because you don't see me doing them, doesn't mean you shouldn't do them. And even if they're messy and you don't get the best rank, don't worry about it. You can always go back to them later on when you're a little bit stronger. However, somebody's stolen a boat that we made to potentially look around the other sides of the island. So now we have to go to the coast here of an area we've been to before to check out just what this person was thinking. Because as is true of the beginning of the game, there is a certain primordial that is guarding the island and making sure that we can't leave and that any boat that goes near this area gets sunk. So once you come through here, it's going to trigger a mandatory fight against a bunch of street sharks. And this is actually kind of an awkward fight because you can't move from this area. You're on this plateau and the sharks attack randomly. If they go for you or they go for your team is entirely up to them. So it makes blocking and countering a little bit trickier. And the amount of times you'll get hit just by virtue of the attack of the shark going for someone else and you didn't realise it was going to come for you. So it can make that fight a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So just be careful there, folks. But once again, Force Edge is so powerful. It really doesn't matter what we do. We were going to win. But right now, as you come outside here, there's going to be a letter on the tree. It is a challenge from this serial killer that's on the island. And now we're going to be going to a location on the map that we've been to before so that we can get to the bottom of this mystery. And if you remember at the beginning of the game, the area that we went where we got Sahad from and we fought the Primordial, there is now going to be a fight against this murderer. Kiergaard is the first boss's name that I heard people kind of lamenting about on the forums, because apparently that this guy's a big jump in difficulty and everybody was having a tough time with him because he spams traps and he fights like a bitch. He's not a very, very fun fight. However, if you use Flash Move against him, you can really hurt this boss. And I recommend dodging his moves into Flash Guard so that you can stack both of the Flash moves and then just wailing on him. The fortunate thing about Kiergaard is he doesn't have a lot of HP, so if you can overwhelm him and get those parries, get those dodges, you can do some serious damage. But do you see the wires that are currently strewn across the battlefield? Those wires are really misleading. They limit your mobility and they can be quite difficult to get a Flash Guard off of sometimes. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get an extra move during a Flash Guard, or I should have done it at the end of the last one, but I panicked. And what's going to happen, when Kiergaard does this move that spams the entire environment with these ground attacks, when you come out of an extra move, you have a couple of frames of invincibility. So if you dodge your way out of that move, you can oftentimes get a flash move and then chain it into a flash guard and then kill the boss during his second phase, and you don't have to mess around with him spamming garbage and traps. Be careful though, there are times where when you dodge coming out of an extra move, you will not get that bonus because you didn't quite time it effectively. But every time I tried that against him, it worked really well, and that's where the strategy of completely skipping the second phase came from. So, if you're having any trouble against him, guys, get aggressive, use those guards, level up a couple times if you need to, but just try not to panic. The hardest part about that fight is seeing what's going on because it's very chaotic, and because he's a humanoid character, he's the same size as you, so there are times where you just can't see where he is. But focus on it, you'll get it, and thank you for watching.